The Cleveland Cavaliers, a 122-103 winner over the Indiana Pacers, and doing something that they haven't done in more than a month. The Cavs Insider Postgame Report coming to you right now. Well, good evening. The Cavaliers a winner tonight, marking 2 straight wins, something they haven't done since early January. Hey, and thanks for joining us here on this Cavs postgame wrap-up as we're wrapping up the front end of a back-to-back here. The Cavaliers beginning a busy week and beginning a back-to-back with that matchup in Indiana on Sunday night. It was a 5 o'clock tip-off, and the Cavaliers really kind of running away with this one. And it was good to see them kind of get a win from start to finish. And I think that a lot of people would say probably the Cavaliers' best road performance of the season. We've talked at length about how good this team has been at home and their struggles on the road. But it was good to see them go to Indiana and get a double-digit win over the Pacers. The Cavaliers now 6-1 in their last 7 meetings with the Pacers. Cavs leading by as many as 26 in this one. I believe it was ended up being about a 19-point win for the Cavs, but they led by 20 points for most of the evening, and this win putting Cleveland just a half game behind the Brooklyn Nets for in the Eastern Conference standings. Oh, by the way, those Nets trading away Kyrie Irving here earlier today, so some big news in the NBA world as well. But Cavs really feeling like they were never in danger of losing that game to Indiana. Multiple chances to build a double-digit lead early on in the game, finally pulling, using a run to get to that double-digit lead, to 26-9 run to end the first half, and then they jumped out of the second half, out of the gate in the third quarter here with an 11-4 run to really kind of push things into that double-digit lead, that 20-point mark, and that's kind of where the Cavs led and where things were kind of situated for the remainder of the game. All 5 starters tonight scoring in double figures. Darius Garland leading the charge with 24 points. Taking a look at the box score, it was a good night for the Cavs. A lot of Cavaliers filling up that box score. Evan Mobley, 17 points. Isaac Okoro with 20 points. Jarrett Allen also with a double-double, 18 points and 10 rebounds for Jarrett Allen. Mobley just missing the, actually did have the double-double, 9 defensive rebounds, 10 rebounds, 13 rebounds. My mistake there for Jarrett Allen. And then Dean Wade coming off the bench with 6 points. And Jetty Osman also coming off the bench, contributing 9 points in the win. Good team effort for this Cavalier team, and you wondered how they might respond after an emotional, action-packed win on Thursday evening. We saw the sparks flying, the ejection between Donovan Mitchell, or rather between the incident between Donovan Mitchell and Dylan Brooks. Brooks getting the suspension, Mitchell just coming away with the fine, and it was good to see the Cavaliers respond. And it kind of begs the question now, have the Cavaliers found their edge? This is a soft-spoken team. They don't talk a whole lot of trash on the court. Donovan Mitchell even soft-spoken in his post-game comments after that ejection. But you wonder, they said multiple times, J.B. Bickerstaff saying it multiple times in that post-game press conference. Darius Garland said it, and Donovan Mitchell said it himself. Hey, this team's no pushover. You wonder if they have, in fact, found their edge. A nice night for Isaac Okoro, and it's been encouraging to see him shoot the ball well in the last 2 games. We know what defensive abilities that Okoro brings to that lineup. Sunday night, Okoro, a season-high 20 points, 7 of 8 shooting. He knocked down his first 7 shots. He was 7 for 7 from the field at one point, marking back-to-back strong performances for Okoro. He scored 12 points in that win over the Grizzlies on Thursday night and was 5 for 5. So a perfect night shooting from the field for Okoro on Thursday evening. Cavs head coach J.B. Bickerstaff saying that Okoro getting a little bit more comfortable, showing a little bit more confidence as he's been reinserted into that starting lineup. He kind of admitted as such tonight in some of his post-game remarks. The Cavaliers kind of been waiting for him to unlock the offensive potential in his game. Just 2 games, but if he's able to knock down those perimeter shots like he has in the past couple of games, that will certainly go a long way towards really solidifying a full starting five that we haven't seen. That swing position, that three position has been kind of where the question marks have lied for the Cavs so far this season. Cavaliers with 33 assists tonight on 46 made baskets. Ricky Rubio leading all Cavaliers with 9 assists on the night. He was effective all night, also had 7 points, and he drew a charge on the defensive end. Kind of been a difficult road back to the floor for Rubio, but you have to like what you've seen from him of late. And when he's distributing the ball, the Cavaliers as a whole seem to be distributing the ball better, and that just unlocks a new level for the offense. Seemed like the Cavaliers came into this one really trying to limit the pace that the Pacers played with, as well as their three-point shooting ability. Miles Turner having himself a big night, 27 points and 10 boards for the Pacers. Big man, but really not a whole lot else for the Pacers offense. And you have to kind of wonder if that was the Cavaliers' plan going into this one. Indiana shooting just 8 of 32 from three-point range. Buddy Hield knocking down 4 of those triples. Now, one of the last times that these teams met up back at the end of December, in fact, the last time that these teams met up at the end of December, Indiana knocking down 19 threes, Hield and Tyrese Halliburton combining for 11 triples, but just 8 of 32 from beyond the arc. So the Cavs kind of seeming content to let Miles Turner go to work down low and limit the offense from beyond the arc. I had this point also that I wanted to bring up in my 5 thoughts column that I usually write in Cavs postgame features. That melee between Donovan Mitchell and Dillon Brooks kind of forced us to scrap some of those plans. So I brought this one up. Cedi Osman kind of had an up and down season, and coming into the year, he said that this was a really important year for him. It's just kind of been an inconsistent year for Osman. It's kind of been disappointing for him. He had 9 points coming off the bench in 24 minutes Sunday night against the Pacers. Again, an up and down season. Last Sunday against the Clippers, he dropped a career high 29 points in 22 minutes, followed up with a goose egg against the Heat in just 7 minutes of action on Tuesday evening. And then after Mitchell and Brooks were ejected, Cedi was one of the ones that kind of spearheaded the rush and the resurgence for the Cavs after Mitchell and Brooks were kicked out of that game. Scored 21 points, made several key nice plays, including a 3-point play as time ran down in the first half. I mentioned it's been an inconsistent year for Cedi so far this season. There was kind of a sequence in that game with the Grizzlies that really illustrated the highs and the lows that Cedi has endured this season. He took an outlet pass from Garland on a fast break in the second quarter, flushed a dunk, but then immediately came right back down on the ensuing possession and fouled Santi Aldama on the arm as he raced to the corner to defend a corner three. Now, you have to love the effort in Cedi getting back on defense, but man, you would expect a guy like Osman, somebody who's a veteran, someone who's been around, someone who's looked at as a leader in that locker room, to have a little bit more control and maybe awareness in that situation. But when he's playing well, when he's knocking down those shots, when he's getting out in transition, getting those fast break points, he's a spark of energy, and he really brings a different dynamic and another element to the Cavs bench. But that has kind of been inconsistent at best for the Cavs so far this season. They've really, coming into the year, we thought that bench might be a benefit, maybe one of the deeper benches for a Cavalier team that we've seen. Hasn't quite been the case that we've seen so far. But what you have to love from this win on Sunday night is that it was perhaps the Cavs' most complete game on the road. We've talked about struggles that they've had so far this season on the road. They've had some really bad losses on the road. The Knicks loss in Madison Square Garden comes to mind. They've been dynamite at home, but not so great on the road. And getting this win against the team, I believe at last glance, they were intense. So they were fighting for a play-in spot, and I believe that is the last play-in spot. So this is a team that the Cavaliers were better in, right? Like you're not gonna pull any punches. The Cavs are a better team than Indiana, and you want to see them take care of business, whether it's on their home floor or on the road. This is the start of a busy stretch. They have Washington on the road in Washington on Monday night. So we would like to see them kick off this road trip by getting a win. You have another lackluster or below the bar team in Washington on Monday night. And then you've got the Detroit Pistons coming to town on Wednesday at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, another non-playoff team that you have a chance to get a win in. Busy week for the Cavs because from there they go to New Orleans on Friday, and then they're back at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse on the 11th, the next Saturday, with an 8 p.m. tip-off against the Chicago Bulls. So you got 3 prime opportunities this week to really get a couple of good wins under your belt and maybe kind of separate yourselves in the Eastern Conference. Taking a look at the standings right now in the East in the NBA, Cavs right now locked in that 5th position, but again, just a half game behind the Brooklyn Nets, who are 30-20, and again, making that big trade, shipping Kyrie Irving out of town, sending him to the Dallas Mavericks. In the third spot is the Philadelphia 76ers in the third spot in the East, as well as going into the second spot would be the Milwaukee Bucks. Is my phone ringing here during this live broadcast? But Milwaukee Bucks for the second spot, and then Boston Celtics, top of the Eastern Conference right now. The Cavs only 5 games back, but with 3 winnable games here this week, they have a good chance to get back and gain a little ground. They were kind of hovering around that 3rd and 4th spot in the Eastern Conference, but an up and down month of January. They really haven't had any consistency. And I mentioned at the top of this broadcast, this is the first time that they have won back-to-back games since the start of January. So it's been an up and down months for the Cavs. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one. They were 8-8 through their first 16 games of 2023. And we're getting to the point in the schedule where you really wanted to see them kind of develop a little bit of consistency. You wanted to see them develop, continue to gel and continue to put things together with Garland and Mitchell in the backcourt. And you wanted to really start to see things come together. But it's kind of been, one step forward, 2 steps back for the Cavs so far this season. But tomorrow in D.C. at home against Detroit on Wednesday night, Friday against New Orleans before they come back to or head back on the road to take on the Pelicans on Friday evening. It's another back-to-back because they come back to Cleveland for Sunday night's game against the Chicago Bulls at 8 o'clock at the Fieldhouse. So a lot to like from this Cavaliers win. Again, a lot of all 5 starters in double figures for the Cavaliers. And I believe that was just the 4th time in Cavalier history that all 5 starters scored 17 or more points in a regular season game. Garland with 24, Okoro with 20, which is a season high for him. Donovan Mitchell, didn't even really get to mention him tonight, with 19 points. Jarrett Allen, 18 points, 13 rebounds, and then Evan Mobley with 17 points as well. Keep an eye on Donovan Mitchell moving forward because, yes, he did have the 19 points tonight, but he's been dealing with a groin injury. We've talked about it ad nauseum, and he's missed a few games with that groin injury and didn't quite look himself Thursday evening against the Memphis Grizzlies. 19 points again tonight, but I believe if we pull up the stat sheet again here quickly, as far as for what he was shooting from 3-point range, just 2 for 10 shooting from 3. So something to keep your eye on, how that groin lingers and how that might continue to impact him as we move forward here. I don't want to say he hasn't looked himself. There is the explosiveness. It's still there. But when you take a look at some of his shooting numbers, I believe it was just 2 for 11 from the field on a Thursday night before he got the ejection, and then 2 for 10 from 3-point range this evening. 6 of 18 overall. He was 5 for 5 from the charity stripe to get those 19 points. Still getting his points, still making his living there, but you have to wonder how that groin injury is going to affect him. It looked like he tweaked it on Thursday night in the second quarter, jumped up to grab a rebound, fell to the floor, and you could see him kind of grabbing the area. So something to monitor here moving forward. And as we mentioned, it's a busy stretch here. 5 games over the next 7 days. So you have to wonder if he maybe gets a night off on one of these back-to-back situations, something we will keep a close eye on as we move forward. With the Washington Wizards on tap tomorrow evening, Monday evening, Bradley Beal questionable for that one, Kyle Kuzma out. So we'll keep a close eye on the injury situation moving forward here with regards to the Cavs and with regards to the Washington Wizards. Also of note, Karis LeVert missing his 2nd straight game with an injury, some hamstring tightness that LeVert is dealing with as well. But the Cavs getting a win tonight on a Sunday evening, 122-103 over the Indiana Pacers. Again, just the 2nd time in the year 2023 that they've won back-to-back games. They will look to run it 3 straight when they take on the Wizards on Monday evening. And we'll see you back at the Fieldhouse for head coach JB Bickerstaff's press conference on Wednesday evening when they welcome the Detroit Pistons to town. For John Rudder, you've been watching the Cavs Insider Postgame Report. We'll see you back here on Wednesday evening, live from the Fieldhouse.